Hello everybody, this is Jeff Janess and welcome to our 7th lab exercise, introducing us to ArcGIS Pro. In this lab exercise we're going to investigate a particular layer property called scale dependency, which basically tells the layer whether it should draw or not, depending on what scale your map is currently at. And we have a layer all ready to go that'll let us illustrate this, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to first add a new map to ArcGIS Pro. Now the layer, we hit the Add Data button. The layer is in our Class GIS Data folder, in the folder called Flagstaff Roads, in the folder called Data, and here it is, Multi-Scale Roads. We hit OK. Okay, it adds it and zooms to the extent of the group layer. Notice that this is a group layer, by the way. The group layer named Roads, containing lots of other sublayers. So, turns out all of these layers here are actually pulling from the exact same data set on the hard drive. They're just symbolized differently, and they have this thing called scale dependency, which means only one of them shows at particular scales, and we're going to dive right into that. But first up, I just wanted to illustrate what this Zoom to Full Extent button does, just in case we haven't done that before. So let's just do it. We hit that. And notice that because we have a data set that is a global base map, it zooms to the whole layer of the world. So one of the downsides of having a global base map means that whenever you use this button, it's always going to go to the whole globe, and that's often not really where we want to go. All right, so let's get back. Right-click on the group layer named Roads, go down to Zoom to Layer, and it takes us back to where we were. Okay, now first question, what is the scale of the map now that we're at the extent of this roads? In the document I gave you, the scale is somewhere around 1 to 3.1 million, and now ArcMap is oriented a little bit differently on my screen, so now my scale is at 1 to 2.5 million. I would expect your scale to be somewhere in that range, somewhere between 1 to 3.5 down to 1 to 2.5 million. Now next up, notice the little check boxes next to all of these layers in here. Notice that they are all checked, meaning they are all set to be visible. And yet, only this one actually is visible. And notice that this check mark is solid black, while all the other check marks are gray. That's just an indication that these may be set to be visible, but they're not at the right extent. They've got some scale dependency value set that says they should not be shown at this scale. Now the scale that we're at right now, 1 to 2.5 million, this is the only one that has rules that allows it to be drawn at that scale. So now let's try changing our scale. I'm going to use the Explore command here, and this lets me hold the Shift key down and draw a box. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm clicking the Shift key right now. Now I just draw a little box on the screen. It'll zoom into that box. All right. So next question, what scale are we at now that we've zoomed in? Well, down here I see that I'm at 1 to 118,000 scale. I have a new layer set to be visible now. This is the only one that has a checkbox. This one that was visible before now has a grayed out checkbox. Now we're at this one. Notice that we have a bit of different detail in the roads. We have a lot more roads showing than we had in that last one. In fact, if we went back to that last scale, to use this button here, notice that there's only the major freeways and this major highway going north. We go to the scale we were just at. Now I have the freeways plus a lot of the major roads through the town of Flagstaff. So we just want to try this, keep going at different scales. I'm going to zoom in again. Now I'm at 1 to 22,000 scale, and now this layer is the one that's turned on. Okay, now let's manually go to a scale. Let's just type in 100,000 into this box. Okay, just hit Enter, and it takes us to 1 to 100,000 scale. Now we're back to this layer being visible. But now we want to try manually changing the scale dependency values of a layer. So I'm going to turn this one off. And we're going to play with this one, the rows that 25 to 15K. So to get to the scale dependency, we go to the layer properties. There's two ways you can get there. You can right click on it and go to properties in the little drop down menu, or you can just double click on it, and that's what I'm going to do. So double click, layer properties open, and in the general tab you see the section called visibility range. So it says do not show layer when zoomed to these. In beyond a maximum scale, out beyond a minimum scale. Maximum and minimum. Remember how scale is kind of weird in cartography? This 1 to 15,000 is actually a larger scale than 1 to 25,000, even though 15,000 is smaller than 25,000. This means that if you're zoomed in closer than to 1 to 15,000, then it won't be visible because it's got a limit. If you're zoomed out past 1 to 25,000, it also won't be visible. Well, we want to just turn those off entirely. The way you turn them off is you click this little down arrow and just pick None. You do the same here, and notice that you could type any number you wanted in there, but we're just going to go for None. So now this layer is no longer got any rule set about scale dependency. It will always draw no matter what scale we're at. So we hit OK, and sure enough, there it is. We could zoom out to the full extent of the whole roads layer, zoom to layer, and we still get all of them showing. So now this layer will draw all the time no matter what scale we're at. Let's go back to our scale here. There we go. So now a question. What scale range does the roads 1 to 1.5 million to 750K show at? That's this one. And it's easy to find out. We just double click on it to go to the layer properties, go to the general tab. We see that it is set to have a maximum scale of 1 to 750,001, right? It's got that little 1 there. And the out beyond is set to be just none. So there is no minimum scale for this layer. All right, so just feel free to play with these and notice that as you zoom to different scales, the different layers do become visible. You get a lot more detail when you start zooming in, because those layers are designed to show more detail when you're zoomed in. And that's really the point of scale dependency. It's designed for this kind of situation where you want to be looking at the same data at different scales and just get different details at each scale. All right, thanks so much, everybody.